Thank you so much. Good. All right. Awesome. All right, you guys. Well, I'm super excited for tonight. I don't know about you guys, but I think that we could all always use more confidence. Confidence has been something that I have been on a journey to find for a long time. And Alexia and I had the opportunity to meet when we were doing a mastermind together through the writer of Girl Code, which is Kara Leba. She's amazing. And we were in an amazing mastermind with, I think it was like, was it 8 of us?
Yeah. It was a really intense, like small, tight group. Yeah, it was really awesome.
So we got the opportunity to meet, and seriously, you've become one of my favorite humans to follow. Everyone's going to want to follow her because Alexia is just one of those people who is just joyful and a ray of light, and you just feel like, I don't know, you just want to be her bestie. So I will let you take it away, and I'll kind of interject here and there, and I'm just excited. Let's get down to getting confident.
Yes! All right. Well, ladies, thank you so much for having me here tonight. It means a lot to me. I know Kristen has an amazing group of women that you coach, and it's truly just it means a lot to me to be able to come on with you tonight and share this time, because I know that, you know, who you share your audience with means a lot. And so thank you. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. You know, it's funny because you mentioned when you first started talking that like confidence is something that, you know, you've had to find, you've had to continuously work on. And I think that it's something that we're all working on, and we're all evolving in our confidence each and every day. And I think we have to, as we grow, we come into new chapters. We find out new things about ourselves, new passions that we want to explore. And I think that's what's awesome about confidence. But I found that for women, it's one of those things that it's not easy. I mean, it's not easy for any person, but I think for women in general, we're just so critical of ourselves that it's really something that's difficult for us to come in touch with and to really make the connection in our lives so we can go out and do these awesome things. And I know everybody in this group, I mean, you're killing it, right? You have an awesome leader and mentor, but what you're doing is not easy. And I know that it's taking that road less traveled to tap into your greatness, to figure out, okay, what do I want to be? How am I going to do this? And why is it so important to me? And so, you know, when I first started thinking about confidence, I really just wanted to leave people with a few things that they could just utilize in the day-to-day, that they could start tapping into that beauty and that greatness. And when I started to think about confidence, I tried to come up with some words that came to mind. So Kristen, when you think of confidence, like, is there anything that like off the top of your head you think of right away? When you think of like the most confident woman, right? Like, what do you think
somebody
of?
who just like commands attention, maybe somebody who holds their head up high, who I don't know if I would like think of a specific word, but maybe somebody who doesn't let anybody else's opinions or really affect how they feel about themselves. Somebody who can look at their flaws and still say, yeah, I'm still super awesome anyway. You know, that's kind of the things that come to my mind when I think about confidence. It's not perfection.
Right, 100%. Right, yes, absolutely. And so it's kind of like that magic essence. It's that X factor that a woman has. But, you know, when I think of a confident woman, I think powerful, I think persuasive, happy, just on top of her game. She's got it together. She's influential. She has a lot of friends. She's successful, right? So you kind of think of the whole package. And to be quite honest with you, when you think about all those things, that's really freaking overwhelming, right? It's like, wow, how can I be and do, you know, all of those things? And so I think for us, immediately there's like these confidence killers that get in the way. And so we let fear kind of take over the confidence. Anytime we want to go do something, like we get really, really excited. At first we have that like beautiful idea, say we just joined this amazing company that you're a part of. We think, oh my God, it's going to be amazing. My life's going to change. And then we have to go actually do the thing to make it happen, right? And then all that fear creeps in, and we start thinking about, well, you know, I tried a business before and it didn't work. So we're thinking about like the past, right? Oh my goodness, when I tried something new in the past, everybody judged me. Or immediately you think, well, I'm not as good as the person that I see on stage. talking about their success story, and they were able to do it, but here's the reason why I can't do it. You know, you name X, Y, Z, and you come up with like a million different things. You start comparing yourself, you know, you're forecasting into the future. And so that doubt creeps in before you even give yourself a fighting chance. And so these are all those confidence killers that really get in the way. And so, you know, when it comes down to it, confidence is really something that's so innate to us. And it's kind of sad because, you know, when we're a kid, you think back to like when you're 5 years old and you're in, you know, elementary school, and that confidence is kind of like innate to you. You go up and you'll sit next to people in the lunchroom that, you know, they could look completely different than you, dress completely different than you, talk different than you, right? It doesn't matter. You're not even thinking about the judgment piece. So it's really something that we're conditioned to feel over time, that comparison. You know, when somebody tells us that, oh, you're doing it wrong, it's not supposed to be that way, right? I mean, what's the right way? You don't know any different. So you just show up in that greatness and in that confidence. And so over time, as you age and you get older and older, those confidence killers, they kick in, and they become more aggressive. And especially like today, when you think about, I mean, social media, I don't know about you, but it's so tough. I mean, immediately we're scrolling the minute we get up in the morning, and how can you not compare yourself to other people? So, you know, that beautiful girl who was confident, you know, when she was so young and had all of that talent right away, just kind of let the world beat her down. I mean, and then we become reclusive. We're not as open. When we have a great idea, we're not as confident to just go try it. I mean, that idea of failure, that wasn't even a thing. I mean, we use the cliche example of walking, right? Like when you fall down, right, you didn't think it wasn't for you, right? You kept just going and you eventually walked, right? I mean, people use that example a lot, but it makes a lot of sense, right? Like it's a part of you. And so what I really want to stress before I get into some tips, like I told Kristen before we got started, I said, I really just want to leave them with a few tips that they can start applying in their everyday. So I have 6 tips that I want to go through with you guys tonight. But what I want to really impress upon you is that confidence has everything to do with a feeling. It has everything to do with a belief. So if you go right now, and I did this before I started putting together any material on confidence, and I looked up the definition of confidence, and I'll read you off a few right now, but they all have the words feeling and belief within the definition. And I think that's incredibly powerful. So, you know, what is confidence? The feeling or belief that one can rely on something or someone. Firm trust. The state of feeling certain about the truth of something. A feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. So it has nothing to do with what you can actually do, what you're actually capable of. It's everything has to do with up here and what's in here, right? It's what you think and what you believe. But the thing is, we get in our own way every single time because those confidence killers come up. And then before we can even get started, we haven't even begun. We can't even take the first damn step. So I believe that we are designed to win, but we are absolutely programmed to lose. So to get in touch with our confidence, to unlock that greatness, we have to tap into our brains and to our hearts, right? Like we have to understand what's going on in here, and we have to make the connection up here, make them harmonize and work together so we can really make that confidence blossom. But it takes a lot of work. It takes mental work and physical work to get it going, right? So I want to talk to you about the first step that I believe is probably the most crucial, and it's gaining clarity. So if you want to be confident in your life, you have to gain clarity on where the heck you're going, right? And so I think that in all business today, it's kind of become a more of an emotional connection. And so most companies will tell you, well, you have to start with your why, right? Like what's the reason why you're doing something? And while I think that's incredibly important and it helps you kind of create the trajectory and the roadmap and the path to where you're going, I think there's something else that you have to do first. So if you can think about your life like a wheel, right? There's different areas. And so there's a couple different areas that I want you to think about. And just as I'm going through these, I want you to think about, how am I aligned? How am I aligned right now with this particular piece in my life? Because before we can gain clarity, we need to know, where are we out of whack? And sometimes, especially like when you're strong, passionate women and you have a business goal, we tend to not think about all the areas on our life wheel. We kind of get so like channeled and focused on, okay, I got to get the sales quota, right? I got to get the presentation done so I can present to my team, and we can rah-rah and get ready to go so we can hit that next deadline together, that next big goal. And then all that other stuff kind of falls off. So think about your life in these areas. So think about your health first and foremost, okay? If you're not healthy, if you're not getting the right amount of sleep, if you're not eating right, you can't show up in your confidence, because you are not physically all there. You're just not. So think about where you are right now in your life in that respect. Your relationships. So how are you doing with your kids? Like, what's that look like? Are you getting time with them? Are you having actual good present time? I mean, we can be with our kids, but are we actually there? Are we like fiddling with the phones? And I get it. I have an online business too, and it's tough to not make that, to detach and actually be present. And then, of course, with our significant others, that gets really challenging too when we have other people that we're taking care of. But are you getting that time with that individual? And then we have our faith, whatever that means for you. Some people it's God. Other people it's like the universe, right? But something that helps you to feel divinely connected to something bigger than you. So whatever prayer or meditation means for you, is that present in your life right now? And then the last two, passion. So do you have things that inherently bring you joy in your life? So you can love your career, but are there things in your life that really just bring you joy, that you do and actually put into your schedule every single day? Or are you focused on all the other things? So we want to make sure you're doing that. And then lastly is the career. So career is only one piece of the pie. So if we're out of alignment in some of those areas, we are not clear on what we need to fix. And when we know when we're out of alignment, then we can create the right goals for ourselves, so we can get a plan to create more harmony. And I can guarantee you that career goal that you have, it'll come into focus. It'll make a lot more sense. That why will get stronger, and you're going to show up more brilliantly. Can you imagine if you were healthier and feeling better in your body, how much better you could show up for your kids, how much better you could show up for your team with a clear head, a clear mind, a strong body. So, all these things are holistically connected. So I know that when we think about confidence, we might not be thinking, oh my gosh, life wheel alignment, but it's what's below the surface that really has to be cleaned up and connected before we can show up more brilliantly, if that makes sense. So think about that, guys. Think about where you are. I mean, is that something that you've ever done, Kristen, kind of taking a look at that life wheel every once in a while to kind of get on path and kind of get readjusted, if you will?
Yeah, absolutely. Because actually, so I was a part of another company before here, and a lot of the ladies here have also been involved with other companies. And honestly, it was like the life wheel was like it was like 89% business, work hard, don't just like, there's no income,
right,
spending time with your family. And so like, for me, that was out of whack for so long. And then really think about it. And so for me, coming over here and now being here for almost 2 years, one of the most important things for me is that it's that your business is a piece of your puzzle. It's not your entire puzzle. It is that
right.
I think everyone else is a goal. Balance is a myth, and, maybe so, but I still think that there is the ability to be more balanced. I think that sometimes one thing can be a little bit more elevated than the other, but for me, I have found that when I am, again, taking care of myself, taking time for the gym, taking time
right.
to date my husband, to spend time with my daughter and put my phone down, that when I am powered up to work, I'm like working even more efficiently because everything else is in place. versus it
Yeah.
just being like this swirled chaos. So it's kind of crazy because I think if you put, I'd rather have, family life and spouse life and all that above career, and it really does end up fueling it. But yeah, I think that's something that I do. And so a lot of times when I start feeling really stressed out, one of those things is out of whack.
That's right. Absolutely. 100%. So yeah, a lot of times I think we just kind of get caught up in one piece of the wheel. And so it starts to wreak havoc on the other areas. And so that goal that you have and you're trying to work towards, I can guarantee you're going to show up more confidently in that space because because your mind will be completely focused on it. The energy can flow there. When our energy is subdivided and it's not because there's misalignments going on, if we're trying to give our best to our team, right, but we're worried about something that's going on in the other areas because it's just not right, we can't focus, we can't align, and we're not confident. It's just, and over time, we might be able to fake it for a while. And then we all heard the expression, fake it till you make it, just keep going, right? But that's a mask, right? Sometimes you just have to be more real with shit. It's just, and it feels so much more refreshing, right? So I would definitely encourage you guys to take a look at that. And then once you have that alignment going, or you realize like what you need to focus on, then you can create your map. Then you can get super clear on what you need to focus on. And so a part of me getting clear, one thing I love to do after I kind of take a holistic look at the wheel is I do these mental workshops with myself. And so look, we are all crazy busy, and I can tell you, I feel you guys. I'm so with you. I am a mom to be, and I have a young woman that I take care of who has special needs. So I know what it's like to tend to someone and take care of someone. I work a full-time corporate job with a killer commute, and I run an online business. So I know all the moms listening to this, all the boss babes that are just hustling hard, like I get it. You guys are juggling about 5 million things. So I'm all about integrating time, right? So if we're trying to get clear, one of the things I like to do is just take about 5 minutes, and I do this in the morning, and I call it my mental workshop. I literally wake up, my alarm goes off at 4 a.m. So tomorrow's gonna be real rough for me. So the alarm goes off at 4. I head into my bathroom, I flick on the light, and I take a bath mat, and I just set it in the center of the bathroom. And I sit down, and I have perfect eye view because right in front of me are like these five things that I'm just trying to really pull into my world. The things I'm creating beautiful clarity around, the things that I'm working on, things that are in my life wheel, right? And I kind of create a mental image of each thing. So say one of those things is to have a healthy and strong body, which is definitely one of my things on that list. It's literally hand done on a piece of paper and tape right on my mirror there. And I look at it and I think about myself. I think about myself in my strongest, most beautiful form, right? Like I'm lifting weights. I can see myself doing, I'm watching myself run, and I'm looking at myself in the mirror, like as my eyes are closed. And I love what I'm seeing, And then, another goal could be that I am just financially beautifully sound, and like I'm abundant, right? And so what visual do you have that's connected? I know for a lot of people that's something they're working towards: financial success, financial freedom. So what represents that for you, and creating a visual in your mind? Okay, so just pick a couple images, but I'm telling you, it's the most beautiful way to start your day. You feel good, so the emotions are flowing, like feel good emotions are flowing. You've created some great chemical release in the body to start the day. And at the same time, you're getting clear. You're getting very clear on what you're creating, what you're manifesting. I like to be careful with that word because a lot of times people think, oh, I think about it and here it is. But that's not, that's part of it, but the big part of it's action. But what it does do, and this is incredible, and this is scientifically proven, by doing a mental workshop with yourself to get clear on where you're headed, to help with things like confidence, is that it's creating new neural pathways in your brain. So we talk about creating new storylines for ourselves, but when we think about it, like we are literally reprogramming the brain. So when I started, I said, we are designed to win, but programmed to lose because of everything we're conditioned to feel about what's right for our life and how other people do it. But when you sit there in your mental workshop and you just think about where you're headed, you literally create new pathways in your brain to believe and to know. And if we know anything about confidence, it's about feeling and it's about believing. So you start to truly kind of trick yourself into saying, yeah, hell yeah, that is me. I do see myself getting strong. I see myself lifting those weights. I see myself being financially free, me buying my new house, me providing for my kids, and me doing the damn thing. Like, it becomes real. Your brain doesn't know the damn difference because it really doesn't.
That's the craziest thing. I was just going to say that. I know, like, I don't know all the science stuff behind it, but I remember my coach was telling me, like, your brain literally doesn't know the difference between what you're what you're visualizing for your life and what you actually or something like that. I was like, that's amazing. Like, it's crazy that you can really reprogram yourself with that. It's crazy.
Yes. So my husband and I owned a athletic performance studio, and one of the things that we would talk to the kids about was visualizing yourself, on the field, right? So how you practice is how you show up. So when you're practicing and you're moving your feet, you're doing all the different movements with your feet. Think about yourself on the field and how it's going to feel. So when you actually go to make that goal, okay, or that throw, whatever it is, like, you're training the muscles in your brain to know exactly what it feels like to achieve that thing. And if you look up, like, professional athletes do this, they visualize it in their head, them performing like that. And when they actually go to do it, they show up that way. So, if you guys have something big going on in your life and you are scared out of your mind, say you have an opportunity to maybe speak at an upcoming conference for your company, right? And that's scary. It's scary to do public speaking. I get it. But if you in your head can visualize yourself up on that stage, or even if you're leading a Zoom call, right? Think about yourself delivering. What does it feel like? How are people reacting? And make that emotional connection of feeling when you are executing that thing that you're scared most of. Because when you actually go to do it, you're more than likely, you're going to show up the way that you practice, the way that you visualize.
Yes, I love that so much. And to me, that is like such a big, so like for an action step for us guys, that would be when say somebody messages you about the products, okay? And you're maybe, instead of responding right away, if you're like feeling nervous, maybe take a second and be like, okay, how's this conversation going to go? And you visualize that for a second, and then you show up as like the best version of yourself in that conversation, because you already sealed the deal 5 seconds ago in your brain. So you already know how this is going to go. And so you show up in a different way because you paused, you thought about it, you gave yourself a plan, and you visualized it. So that's like an action step for us.
Yes. That is so, so true. I mean, it can be applied to anything that you're going after. And for building business, what are we scared of most? We're scared of most that people are going to tell us no. It physically can't hurt us at all. Truly, but that anxiety of someone rejecting us, right? So that's a confidence killer, rejection. It is almost too much for us to even handle. So I want to get to my next step, which it feeds right into this. It plays right off of it. And it's rationalizing your fears, okay? So fear is the one thing that really creeps in. When we're about to go make that call, we think, oh my gosh, like, they're going to say no. They're going to think I'm dumb. Like, I've done other companies before, and like, they didn't buy anything from me then, or, it's just, I've done so many other businesses in the past, and like, they just think that I have no credibility whatsoever. Like, I've heard it all. Okay. And I've done it all. So I feel you. And I know the pain. So one way to get over that, and there's a technique that I want to share with you guys, and it's by a neuroscientist. And as you can tell, the theme of this is all about kind of training the brain. And that's kind of what my whole coaching surrounds. It's all about reprogramming the brain and the body to show up differently in your life, to transform something in your life, to perform better. I even do this in the corporate space. When I'm training people and coaching my employees and even like executives and admirals, like I talk to them about their feelings and their emotions, and it's like so mushy gushy for like a Navy, admiral to think about this kind of stuff, but I'm telling you, this stuff works. So the technique I want to share with you is by a neuroscientist. His name is Daniel Amen. I believe that's how you pronounce it. But he has a book, and it's called Change Your Brain, Change Your Life. And if you are looking for something that's a little bit more scientific, that can kind of walk you through like why we do some of this stuff, and it kind of gets, it's geek out mode for sure. But I love this stuff, so I like to read about it. But there's something really great that he talked about in this book, and he came up with this thing called killing the ants. And so an ant is an automatic negative thought. So then, like I said, the minute we want to go do something, make a call to a client, share a product, we start immediately going into the negative thoughts. And so there's all kinds of negative thoughts that we can have. And so Daniel goes into all these different types of ants that we have, but a lot of the most common ones have to do with what other people are thinking. So we try to be mind readers, okay? We try to think, oh my gosh, they're going to think this. When in reality, you have no idea what they're thinking. And quite honestly, you're just not that important. Even if they were, even if what you said didn't resonate with them, I can guarantee you within the next 3 minutes, their child is crying, they have to make dinner, and their phone is ringing at the same time, and you are the first thing from their mind, right? Yeah. So we start mind reading, and we start making ourselves so much bigger than really what we are, which you are all wonderful people, but that's just the reality. And so the focus needs to be shifted off of us almost. We start fortune telling about what's going to happen. Sometimes we even blame other people for why we can't get up and do something. That's a confidence killer as well. Sometimes it becomes all or nothing. Sometimes it just becomes so big we literally are just paralyzed. So what I want you guys to do, the next time you have to do something big, I want you to do this strategy. And so it's going to say you have to go make that call, like Kristen was saying. You have to follow up with a client and talk to them about what you have to offer. I mean, because you could be changing that person's life. You have no idea. You could be one phone call away from absolutely transforming someone's life from devastation to sheer greatness. But I get it. It's hard. So before you make the call, I want you to stop, and I want you to think about how can I make my body feel better? Okay, how can I start feeling more confident about this call? So we have to start thinking about how we can make the body feel different. So we have to start with the breath, okay? So very simple, very cliche, right? But I'm telling you, it does something incredible in your brain. When you breathe in really slowly, just in through the nose, you hold it, right? Out the mouth. I really engage the core, right? When you do this, you create a physical reaction in your body. So you're slowing down your heart, right? You can actually start to feel a little calmer, and you start to gain clarity, right? So all the racing thoughts start to calm. So you literally create a calmness in your whole body before you're starting. So this is why people meditate before they do something big. They go out on stage, or they give a big presentation, right? Instead of pacing in the back, you'll see the greats behind stage just zenning out to some music, right? And they shut off their earbuds and they go out and they kill it, right? There's a reason for that. So you need to center yourself. So take that time to breathe. And it can be a little different for every single one of you, but that's the easiest thing to do to kind of bring a calmness to your heart and to your mind. So instead of fleeing, because this is the second thing, I need you to stay put. So our fears gain control over us when we run away. And I would say the majority of the time, what makes us scared, we never face it head on. A lot of times we flee, okay? And then what happens is that fear becomes huge, right? And so say you had to make 5 calls today, like you had to get to five new clients you had to reach out to, 5 new potential partners for you to connect with today. And because you were scared, you didn't face it head on, you put it off. Well, I have this, this, and this to do instead. And you did all the behind the scenes work instead. I'm going to work on my social media posts instead. I'm going, you know what I'm talking about, right? I'm going to go work on that email chain instead, whatever, right? We think of a million excuses. So I need you to face it head on. And then the last thing, which is the most important, is we're going to work it out on paper. We're going to work out this automatic negative thought, this ant, on paper. So the first thing is to identify, what is the ant? Like, what is the fear? What is the automatic negative thought? So is the fear that I'm going to be rejected by this person, that they're going to say no? Is the fear that they're going to criticize me, say something unkind to me, make me feel small? What exactly is the fear? Write it down. And then I want you to recognize, well, what kind of fear is this? Am I mind reading? Am I fortune telling? You know, am I living in the past? Am I scared that this scenario is going to turn out the way the previous couple calls have if you had a bad experience? You know, what is it? And then the last thing is we got to kill the ant. So now that we have literally started to relinquish its power, because we have written down the fear itself. We know what it is, okay? It's not out in the air. Like, we've captured it, we've documented it, we know what kind of fear it is, it has a name, and then we got to talk back to it. So we have to give it a new storyline. So instead of someone saying no to our product or opportunity, we are going to say that this opportunity that I'm going to share could help put food on the table for that single mom who has no idea how she's going to get by. This call could save somebody from losing their home. This call could save somebody who feels so depressed and desperate, like there's no way out, that this is their hope. This is their beacon and their last hope. Maybe they were thinking about doing something even more horrendous than you could ever imagine. Maybe they felt like their life just wasn't worth it, you know? So you never know how amazing that could be, right? So I want you to talk back to that ant. Think about all the positiveness that you could create and how influential that call could be. What that does is it makes your stupid fear of the no and the criticism seem small, right? It's not that big. It doesn't matter. So that's something that you can think about. So what is the ant? What type of ant is it? And then kill the ant. Talk back to it. Give it a new story.
I love this so much. This is so this is so good. And I think every single person is like, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. And because it's so true, you know, we put our stuff on other people. We're thinking, oh, this person already has and you know, when you're in network marketing, you know, sometimes you come into it, you're like, oh, this person probably already has a preconceived notion about network marketing. They probably think they've probably had this experience. And so you come into it and you downplay your opportunity, or you like, oh yeah, it's this and this, but you know, and you're like, you put all these things in instead of just coming and being like, you know, coming at it like what all the things you just said, because every single one of us on here probably fits into one of the descriptions you just said. Has put food on someone's table, has saved someone's marriage, has possibly saved somebody's life health-wise or mentally, emotionally. So we'll have to look at each other's stories and think about how very different each one of our lives were before we came into this company and these products and this team. Remember, this team changes people's lives too because of the community that we have here too. So you're not just offering a product and opportunity, you're offering a family, you know, that a lot of people need too. And so when you look at it from that, I mean, I feel like we just need to go back and have like 100 conversations over again, right? I mean, it's so good. So, keep going. Sorry.
No, this is good. No, I'm so glad. I'm seeing people in the chat, and this is great. I'm so happy it's resonating. Because this is the truth. I mean, we get into business to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. It's not about us, you know, just making a dollar, right? It's not about the dollar. It's about what that dollar can do for our lifestyle, and what it can do to transform life and living and our community and our friendship, our relationships. I mean, that's what life's truly about. And so when we make it bigger than ourselves, like that's when we're able to show up confidently. That's when we're able to shed the confidence killers and just show up as who we are. Just show up with what we have to offer, the gifts we have, and we're able to just be, to just show up in honesty and in our raw form. So yeah. I mentioned earlier that, you know, connecting the brain and engaging that with where we're headed is super important. But a big part of that connection is doing. And so the next tip is to fail forward. And I know we've probably heard that term. I don't know who coined it. I'm sure some great coach somewhere coined the term failing forward. I don't know what book it was in. I swear I read so many darn books. I can't keep them all straight because they're all so wonderful. But failing forward is tied to action. Anytime we take action, it's going to be met with a series of no's. Sorry, it's true. It's going to be met with a series of failures. And here's the thing, confidence is inherently connected to failure. We have to fail to feel confident. And that might seem really stupid, but it's not. And so just kind of bear with me here. Each time you fail, right, we fall flat down and we think, oh my gosh, like this is really, really sucky. But if we don't get back up again, we don't fail forward and keep marching and keep walking, again, we let that fear consume us. It becomes huge in our mind and it paralyzes us. But if we can just keep walking a little bit, what do you think happens? We can look behind us and say, wow, okay, that really sucked that I messed that up. How can I do it better? We start modifying, refining our skill. We start making our talent a little bit better, refining our craft so it's something that resonates with people maybe a little bit more strongly, right? So each time we fail, we refine. So you can think about what that does to our confidence. Like each time we mess up a little bit, we get a little bit stronger. And each time we get a little bit stronger, that confidence is shaped. And it gets just more defined into the kind of confident woman you want to be and what confidence means to you. But if we don't fall, it'll never be built. It'll never be reshaped. Yeah. We'll never know. Yeah. So I'm sure this resonates, right? Like,
oh my gosh. Well, yes. And I mean, and I don't want to interrupt or anything, but you guys, it's just like when it's just like the bad things that have happened to us in our life, right? We either can let those things be something that destroys us or be something that becomes our platform. Like a lot of the really tough things I've been through, I've chosen to make them my platform and to kind of like fail forward with them. Like I'm not happy those things happen, but I'm choosing to allow those things to propel me forward. Whereas, or just like, any type of negative situation, it's the same kind of concept, is letting that be something that actually propels us and allows us to relate to other people and things versus it being something that destroys us, which some people do.
Right. Yeah, and so you bring up a really good point to hit on here. So a lot of times when we fail, we want to immediately cover it up. When we mess up big time, a lot of time we blame other people, right? We don't kind of just own it. And so a big part of confidence is owning the shit out of the things we mess up. It's a big part of it. And what happens when you do that, you take away the shame and you take away the guilt. You literally just open it up, you release it, you give it to the universe. You are no longer carrying those chains, and that weight is not there anymore. So when you fail and you fall down, don't be afraid to share your story with other people. Like if you have a team underneath of you right now that you're guiding and you're leading, guess what? You are not going to get it right all the time. Sometimes you're going to mess it up so bad, and it could be business-wise, it could be personal-wise. But what I would encourage you to do, and what I really think is our duty to do as women and as business women especially, share with that other woman because somebody needs to hear that darn message. Somebody is like flat on the ground and they're thinking about going home. They're literally thinking about not getting back up from that failure. But when they hear stories of triumph and greatness and like rising from ashes and rising up from, from the floor, like that is inspiring as hell. And so share your story with other women. Don't be scared. It's not going to make you weak. It doesn't make you a bad business leader. In fact, it makes you more relatable, like Kristen's saying. It's making you and shaping you into somebody that's honest and true. People follow people that are real. People don't follow people that are always hiding with that perfect mask. We can't see you. But when people see you, they feel your heart. And so when you lead with your heart, your confidence is going to glow, and people will be attracted to that energy source that you're putting out there.
Yeah, so. I love this so much. My team's like, yes, I'm getting a couple text messages. We're like, this is amazing. So this is so good.
Oh, I'm loving the chat. I'm trying to look and see if there's any questions or anything, but this is great. I'm so glad this is.
I'll let you know. I have it up, so I'll let you know if any questions pop up. Yeah, and by the way, guys, awesome. You can ask questions. I know we have a little lag here. I'm sorry. But yeah, if you guys have questions or you want her to reiterate something, please pop it in the chat, or maybe if we have some time at the end even. But all right, you keep going, girl.
For sure. Yeah, so we're gonna. I know that this is an hour call, or a 50-minute call. I don't know what it is, but I'll definitely zoom through the rest here pretty quickly. So the next tip I wanna talk to you guys about is cleaning up your space. And so there's a lot of things you can do, but I'm gonna touch on just 3 things that you can do today to clean up your space to increase your confidence. So when I talk about space, I'm talking about things that are going on up here, things that are happening in your physical space as well. So right now, one of the things that is probably really affecting your confidence is your comparison that we talked about in the very beginning. So cutting the comparison is something that I need you to do. I need you to make a vow to yourself right now that that's something you're going to focus on to help you come out of your shell and and to not judge other people, because I'm telling you the gifts that you have are so different than somebody else. And when you try to mirror someone else, you are taking away from that beautiful gift that you have.
Yeah.
So how do we cut the comparison? I'm telling you, it starts with being very protective with your social media. I don't want you starting your day with that anymore. The first thing you put into your brain is that's a protected space. And the first thing you're putting into your brain better be something positive. So when you wake up in the morning, it better be an inspirational mantra that you're feeding yourself. It better be your mental workshop, or it better be some sort of podcast or Audible that you want to listen to, or YouTube for a good 5 to 10 minutes. Because what that does is it rejuvenates your mind and your energy to start your day in the right place. If we start from a place of comparison, which is our space, it's our mental space, we are not going to have a good day. And then what happens is that's a cycle. So that's going to happen every single day, because that's our habit. Our habit is to scroll Facebook, scroll Instagram, scroll Twitter, whatever, and looking at what other people are doing. I don't care about what you're doing. What you're doing is going to help you feel good about where you are. Because remember, when we were kids, we didn't care. We just showed up as who we are. So when you go to write your post, don't get influenced by someone else for the day. I want you to use your own energy and your own thoughts about how you're feeling and share that with the world.
Yes. So good. You guys know how I always say is that you have to post for yourself, not for somebody else. What you're feeling inspired by, that's the real and raw and beautiful stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So the next thing with cleaning up your space is I need you to think about who's influencing you right now. Okay. Who in your life is probably not a good, influential person to be around. So I'm talking about toxic people. So we become who we hang around. We become what other people are projecting onto us. So it's very important that your circle, okay, your top 5 people that you are being influenced by, they better be great minds. They better be people that are cheerleading you. They understand where you're headed and your goals. And if you don't have anybody, I want you to use people on social media. I want you to use people that that inspire the heck out of you. If you need to Rachel Hollis it up and listen to her every morning on her Rise podcast, like that's going to be one of your 5 influential people that can help you, okay, to raise your vibration, to raise your energy field. Because when we are letting other people come into this protected space, what do you think that does to your confidence? If they don't align with where you're headed, they don't align with what you believe in, that it brings you down. It brings down that vibe, and that confidence is compromised. So you have to make sure that who you're surrounding yourself with each and every day are the right people. And I know some of these people are your people that you can't really get rid of, right? So sometimes the people that are toxic to us are related to us. I understand that. So you probably just need to get very protective with yourself, and you need to create boundaries, okay? Create boundaries with those people. You might have to still interact with them, but we can choose how we respond, right? We can only control ourselves. So we can control what we engage on, right? How we respond. So I want you to think about how you can change up some of those small behaviors in who you're interacting with, who may be a bit toxic for you right now. So if they always like to press your buttons about your business, or they're not understanding why you're working on this, oh, that's taking away from your family, or whatever, they just don't get it, right? You need to create those boundaries, understand what the boundaries are, and then when they come at you, just you have to come up with a different way to talk with them. You have to either have you got to be able to flip it. You have to be able to come up with a new conversation, new dialogue. Don't engage them in the conversation. Don't be combative. You don't have to be combative with people who don't get it. It's a waste of your energy and time. So evaluate who you can bring into your circle of influence and who you need to push out. 5 people, okay? The 5 people we hang out with, right? You all heard this. That's going to reflect who we become. It reflects how much money we make also, okay? So that's super, super important. Okay, the next thing is
Alexia,
your space.
I think Lori, do you have a question? Looks like she did a hand raise.
Yes.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Let's hear it. Hi, how are you?
I've been better. I've got some personal issues going on, but what you were just talking about the toxic people. My father, he thinks that this Lavelle is illegal. And I tried explaining it to him, and he says it's all a pyramid and blah, blah.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it to him that I'm not doing anything illegal. I have my 6-month-old baby on me sleeping. That is the last thing on my mind.
Yeah.
When I found out I was pregnant with her last year, I completely cleaned up my act. And I cut out toxic people as much as I could.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Lori, I will tell you what, we can help you and give you some very easy resources that you can share with him to show that this is not illegal. If it was, it would be shut down. But I'll kind of weigh in and see if she wants to say anything about that.
No, for sure. No, well, that's what I was going to say. Actually, like there's definitely physical documentation that you can show him. I know that kind of goes against, what I was preaching before, which is don't engage, right? All we can do is kind of create those boundaries for ourselves. So Lori, for you, I know this is tough, especially, I don't know if you live with your dad or if he's just very close by. Okay.
No. He lives in Tennessee. I'm in Ohio, thankfully.
Oh, okay. Okay, well that's, I mean, I don't want to say good, but that is good to an extent, right? Because,
it is.
Your home space is really important. And so when you talk with him, you need to focus on all the positive things that are happening for you and your family right now, right? I don't care if they're actually physical or they're more emotional, because emotional is just as good as physical in many aspects. A lot of times the emotion will come before the physical benefits or results of what we're creating, right? So when you engage with him, it needs to be a positive interaction. It doesn't have to be about the business itself, right? I would really encourage you to try to divert from those discussions. I would try to focus on how well you guys are doing and the positive things that are happening, the developments that are happening with your baby and the new things that he or she is learning right now, the new types of things he or she is doing. And just, it has to be at a high vibe, right? So I know that's hard because he's going to want to engage you on what you're doing, especially if you're on social. Is he following you on social media too? I'm assuming.
No.
Okay, well that's good. Because no, I mean, it's really because if, you know, that makes it hard when people close to us can really see all the movements in our business and how we're doing it. But that gives you a little bit more freedom. So when he engages with you, when he texts you, when he calls you, positive stuff. It doesn't have to be the main point of the whole discussion, right? So just kind of keeping it in that positive space. And you have the power, and a big part of our confidence is being able to say when it's enough, right? We get to say what we get to engage on, what we get to talk about. We forget that. We think when people ask, we think we have to respond. We don't. So if he texts you and it's not a good time for you to respond, I don't want you to do it. You know, you're okay. If he really needs you, he will call you. And it's on your terms. Life on your terms. That's what it's about. That's what confidence is about. Life on your terms. So you just have to be strong in that person and your boundaries and creating a positive space for you to interact with him on. And it's all in what you create, not what he's interjecting on you.
I love that.
Thank you.
I hope that helps a little.
It does. Thank you.
I think that's amazing advice for a lot of us. Awesome.
Okay. So the last little bit here about cleaning up your space, and then we'll move on to the last couple here, is cleaning up your physical environment. So it's springtime. It's the perfect time to do this. But I truly believe when we get rid of stuff that we don't need in our space, things that aren't serving us, right? Say we have our office, right? And we've been so crazy busy and we've been trying to meet these goals and we have just destroyed it. There's literally papers everywhere. There's old coffee sitting out. Maybe my lunch that I forgot to throw away from yesterday. I mean, I've seen it all, okay? And I've done it too. But guys, that's your brain. That is literally your brain. So if you don't clean it up, you cannot enter newness. And think about it. Every time you're away from that office, I'm just using the office as an example. It can be any part of your house or your car or whatever. But anytime you're away from that space, you're still carrying that ick with you. It's still on you. And you can't show up as confident as you want to because you're still thinking about, oh my God, I have to clean up that leftover lunch that I left out yesterday. Or that disgusting coffee pot there, or coffee cup that's growing mold, whatever it is. I'm being a little dramatic, but you know what I'm saying. It stays with you. So we can clean up your space, make it something you're proud of, right? We feel good. We feel more confident. So that's super important to think about what your space is doing for you.
I love it.
All right. So we're on to number 5 and then my last one here. So number 5 is lift the body and the spirit. So one of the life wheel spaces here was all about passions and doing things just for you. So I need you to think about the things that really give you joy. So joy is connected with confidence. It's connected to confidence because it's about feeling, right? And so when we're able to do things that make us feel good, we can show up stronger. We can show up more confident. So I want you to look at your schedules right now. Okay, it's Sunday. And a lot of us do preparation on Sunday or Monday morning for the rest of the week. What do you have in your schedule right now that is just for you? I don't care if it's working out or if it's yoga or if you have it scheduled to get your nails done or time for you to read a book or anything like that. Is there anything in your schedule right now that allows you to do that? I can guarantee most of you use it as an afterthought because you're taking care of everybody else first and then it's left off the table. And what happens is you become absolutely drained. And the things that bring you most joy, like getting out, maybe it's walking, maybe it's playing guitar or singing. For me, it's music. I love to sing. So singing, you know, just maybe spending time with some girlfriends for just some coffee chat or something, right? Like maybe connecting with others is something that brings you joy. Like we need to schedule this into our week. It's something for us to look forward to, and it creates really good positive emotions that's attached to our confidence, because when we're happy and when we're in a joyous state, we feel better and we're more confident when we go after those hard things. When we think about it, if we show up from a stressed state, if we have to go give a big presentation, or we're going after a big job, or you know, anything that's very hard, or if we're doing a live for the first time, if we're showing up from a space of just fear and there's not a lot of joy happening in our lives because we haven't created that, you won't show up in the way that you could. You won't show up as the best version of who you are, because you're always leaving that passion piece and that joy piece like kind of off the table. We think we can get it in, but because we don't schedule it, it doesn't happen. So even if it's 5 minutes to 10 minutes a day for you to just maybe to really enjoy, like just sitting down on the couch, maybe it's for 10 minutes, and you just like love to be able to actually flip through a magazine. Like maybe that's something you like to do. Schedule time to do that. Like it sounds stupid because you think, oh, it's 10 minutes, I'll get it in. You won't. It's not on your schedule, it won't happen. If you like to go for walking and that helps to give you energy, right? A great way to create joy is to do activities that will create energy in your body. So say walking is something that really does give you joy, gets you outside, breathing in fresh air. Schedule that in your day. Schedule that into your Gmail or into your G calendar, and you'll feel better, and you'll show up probably as the person you want to be, and just, you know, better than you could before. All right, so the last part of this, I like to call it dreams in action. And I had a coach, actually this is Kara. So Kara Awaleba, who Kristen and I did a mastermind with, she's always talking about like showing up as the woman you want to be, right? And so I like to think about the dreams that we have for ourselves, right? Like we visualize ourselves doing something and actually achieving something. I like to think about, well, how would that woman show up to do that thing? But you have to know who that woman is. So I want you to take a moment, it can be this week, and journal it out. And I want you to think about, like, who's the woman that I want to be right now? Like that woman that shows up confidently, like what does she look like? What does she wear? What does she drink? What does she eat, right? How does she interact with people? How do they interact with her? Get down to like some really specific details here. And then what you can do is, like, once you've kind of created this woman that shows up in that confident space, that's when you are able to start acting as that woman. You can take one piece of it. Maybe it's too much to think about all at once. And a lot of times, the woman we've written down is so far from where we are that it just seems crazy scary to like jump into that. Like we don't even know that woman. Like we're so far from that woman. It's too scary to become her right now. And I get it. So take one piece of it then. Maybe if that woman works out 3 times a week, then that's what you start with. You start just working out 3 times a week. If that woman does her makeup a certain way every single day, maybe you start just, you know, fixing your hair and putting on makeup instead of walking out the door, your naked face, which I mean, I do all the time. I had to put makeup on it's 9 o'clock at night. I don't usually have makeup on.
None of us do. I forgot to tell you were supposed to come
scare you off. You know, I really could stand up, but the other half of me is in sweatpants.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, so, you know, if we can identify the nitty-gritty details of who that woman is, that is when we're able to actually put dreams into action, okay? That's when we're able to show up as that woman. I don't care if it's one single thing that describes that woman. It gets us one step closer. And when we start doing it and putting it into motion, like we're trying it on, like it feels good. Yeah. And then like, what does that do? It starts to get the emotions flowing. And then what happens? The confidence starts to follow. And more will become that woman that we've written down on paper. We've drawn it into our universe. We've pulled it into existence. And, you know, I always like to think about what I can do to kind of show up as that woman. If I'm going to the next level of my career, or I have to get into a new space, it's like really uncomfortable. And the woman I have to become to do that is, I mean, she's just maybe a level of badassery that like, I'm not feeling it quite yet.
Yeah.
So I like to think about like what my alter ego is. And I like to think, okay, well, if I could give that woman a name, you know, what would it be? And so I want you to think, all of you guys, to think about like what your alter ego could be. Like, how does she show up? What is her name? So people do this all the time. So when we think about like Beyonce, right? Who does she become when she walks on stage? She's Sasha Fierce. Like when she goes out there and shakes her butt, and like she is just, I mean, she is on top of the world and she looks amazing. She is Sasha Fierce. Like, so who are you? Who's your alter ego? And become that person. It's almost easier to pretend to be somebody else, right? We know how to pretend because we copy people all the time because we're learning how to do things. And so apply this to you now. But at the end of the day, that person is you, which is what's so beautiful. So that kind of helps a little bit. But
I love that.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I just decided to make mine it's so funny because I was watching something tonight. I think it was the new Jennifer Lopez movie, and I can't remember what it's called now, so I can't remember. But anyway, they were talking about porn names. I'm so sorry to anybody, but it's always the first name of like the pet you have in the street you live on. I said, damn, like that's what my my alter ego is, Fufu Stone. I'm thinking I gave myself a porn name.
Like, whatever works for you, right?
So yeah, but anyway, you make your alter ego whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be your porn name, but it's okay.
I love it.
Yeah. I know we talked about through a lot of different things here, so I guess we can just recap. And then there's one more thing I want to talk to you guys about that I skipped over. But so the first one that we went through was gaining clarity and figuring out where you misaligned so you can focus on that. Do things like your mental workshop every morning, taking 5 minutes to do that before you begin your day. The next one was rationalizing your fears. So it's killing those ants, those automatic negative thoughts, and just relinquishing the power that they have on you by acknowledging what they are and then giving a new storyline and redefining, you know, what is the actual truth and then giving it a new truth. And so the next one was failing forward. So action's a huge part of confidence. And so we have to fail to shed a layer of who we are, to build something stronger and better and more confident, right? The next one was cleaning up that environment. So taking a look at your mental space and your physical space to create something that aligns, again, with that woman that you are becoming, right? That a space that aligns with a confident woman. So what does that look like to you? The next one was lifting the body and the spirit. So that is doing things that bring you just sheer joy. So really just taking time to put things into your schedule that creates the happy feels, right? Whatever that may be for you. And then the last one was putting your dreams into action. So that's showing up for the woman you want to be tomorrow, today, through the smallest of actions and using an alter ego to do it if you need to.
Oh my gosh. So good. So good.
Good. I hope this resonated with you guys. I mean, I'm loving all the comments I'm seeing. This is super awesome. I'm looking at some of them right now. This is so great. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here tonight.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Did you say you wanted to share one more thing? I thought you had one more.
Oh yeah, I did. Sorry. Yeah. So the last thing was gratitude. So gratitude is a big part of what I do personally for confidence. That's something that I do every single morning. I'm busy, so I love to be able to write it down in a beautiful little journal. I have the I Choose Joy journal. It's a Danelle Delgado book. It's really nice. It's on Amazon. It's very cheap, which can help you. But a lot of times I'm busy. So in the morning, I'm driving to my van pool, and I just will take a couple minutes. I have literally 5 minutes to get there, and I'm running through the things in my head that that are good in my life right now. And the thing is, when we do that, we are shifting our energy and our brain to focus on love and light and joy and beauty, as opposed to all the complaints, all the crap that I have to go do when I get into the office. So it's literally shifting how I feel in my body and in my mind as I'm starting my day. And so if we feel good, we show up more confidently. So if I start my day in a space of joy and love, then I'm going to be able to give more of that to other people. They're going to get the best version of who I am by me showing up in a space of, I have all these emails, all these things I haven't done yet, and all that stress, right? People can feel that energetic exchange. So that's what I need to show up as, so people can feel that part of me as opposed to all those negative things. And the more you do that every day, the more confident you truly feel about your life. I mean, because you're focusing on all the good stuff that's happening by all that bad stuff.
Yeah, I think that's so important. I think, so one of the things I do, guys, because, you know, I have a almost 3-year-old, is I try to set my alarm to, you know, getting up about 30 minutes before she does, so I have that time. And if I don't, and I know it's about to be on for the day, I will usually lay in bed for an extra few minutes even, and I like to pray. But for other people that might just be thinking about, you know, all the things that she just said, you know, having your, what did you call your 5 minutes in the morning?
My mental workshop.
Mental workshop. I like that. I'm so going to start practicing that. I really like that. And I'm going to pick my 5 things to really think about in the morning and visualize. I think that's awesome. I mean, that's a game changer, you guys. If you actually implement the things that we talked about today, that is going to be life-changing, you know, even if it's not every single thing, but picking one thing and then coming back and listening to this again and picking up more stuff. So thank you so much for being on here with us tonight. I really appreciate it, especially because you have to be up at 4 a.m. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. No, I'm trying to think of I think I'm going to maybe go on a little later.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit.
Right. No, this has been amazing. I couldn't think of a better way to spend my Sunday evening. This is my passion and my joy, to be able to help another woman who needs a little encouragement, or maybe just stuck in a space, and maybe just one thing Kristen or I said tonight just clicked with you or resonated with you, and it's that tiny little shift that it just opens up a whole new world for you and a whole new space in your life. And I truly think that it's the small movements and small shifts and pivots that help us to transform and makes the difference for between us, you know, doing something from just going to that extraordinary level. It truly is those tiny little movements and shifts. So.
Yeah. It really is. Well, consistency compounds, and so does small shifts. It's not about always, we always talk about taking massive action. Well, sometimes actually taking a baby step feels like massive action because it's so against what we're used to doing. So I feel like this resonated with so many of our team tonight. So we just thank you so much.
I'm so excited. Yes. Well, I'd love to connect with you guys, and I love following Kristen on social. She's so real. It's all realness all the time, which I love so much. I'm on Facebook as Alexia Ferrari. We do have the Sexy Side of Life Facebook page. So that's my coaching business. It's called The Sexy Side of Life, and I focus on helping people transform and high performance. So performing at a very high level in your career, your business, and just kind of breaking through those barriers. So you can follow us at The Sexy Side of Life on Instagram as well.
Yes, absolutely. Go follow Alexia. Every day I read her stuff and I'm like, yes, everything she says, I'm like, yes, girl, yes, girl. So you'll be inspired.
It is so mutual. It's so mutual.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, get some sleep. Take care of yourself. And thank you again so much. And we're going to make you come back.
Okay. Thank you so much. This has been great, guys. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Have a good night. Bye.
Bye-bye.